So I think that we may start if someone will want to apply to our conversation. So he will feel free. Feel free. And today, my colleague Alexandra is here, so she will be able to answer your question about the product. So just type the question in the chat, and you will receive her. Great. I can see you, Alexandra. So let's start. Today I'm gonna show you some features of Eocortex, and my name is Ilya, and I'm an engineer from Eocortex. Today we'll discuss some tasks about the automatization of Eocortex. So if you want to receive some notifications from the CCTV to your mobile device, monitor, email, and so on, if you want to save time of your employees and so on, then this webinar will be very informative for you. So here are some features about the automation. So there are scenarios, scheduled tasks, notifications, and messenger. According to the messenger, as you can see here, there are two screenshots from the mobile device. And here you can see some functions of our messenger that will be released in the future version 2.5. So you will be able to contact your message bot and ask him to send the info about your server, receive some screenshots from your cameras to know the status of your object and your site, and to get operative informative from your site. Here you can see our intelligent modules such as tracking, face detection, face recognition, license plate recognition, and so on. So both of these modules can be made by automatization, and today I will show you how to set up some scenarios, scheduled tasks, and so on. So I think that we are ready to start the demonstration. Can you see my screen? Great, Alexandra. Okay. So here you can see the configurator, and here are some channels. As you can see, tracking, face, channel 7, 8, and so on. And let's start from the scheduled tasks. Let's go to our first channel, tracking, so we can test the video stream. Yes, it's working. Great. And then let's go forward and open the scheduled tasks. To add a new task, just clicking this button, changing the name, for example, task 2. You may add some description to make a note for other administrators of your CCTV system. After that, just let's type node and click next. And here we can choose the period of this task. So it will repeat once every month, day, or customized period. Let's check every day. And then we can choose the action. So, for example, turn on recording, disable recording, send notification, save frame. So, for example, you may save the frame every day, and after that, you can make a time-lapse video about, for example, how some buildings were built, for example, for a whole period of the building, and so on. If it's a PTZammer, you can also turn on the washer, turn on the autofocus mode, and so on. So if your camera taught these functions, you can enable these modes by schedule. And also, as we discussed about the mobile devices, you can send a push notification to your mobile device also by schedule. So after that, just turn on recording. Okay. And if everything is ready, you just click ready, and it's done. Here you can see that I set up the scheduled tasks earlier. So I set it up for sending a notification by email. So if we're opening it, we need to type the email server. It's Gmail here. So you need to type your username and password. So you need to log in and type the address of receiver of this mail. Also, you can type the message and, for example, attach the frame to email. So after that, we can check how it works. So, for example, notification from security channel tracking. So if we're opening it, so parking status, and we can see the screenshot from our camera. So here it is. It's about shared tasks. Let's go forward. And now I want to show you some scenarios. The first one is about face recognition. So here is the video stream from our camera. Nice gentleman. So after that, to the face recognition. And can you hear me? Alexandra can hear me. Okay, and what others? And okay, great. So fine. Let's continue. Great, great. Thank you for the feedback. So here we can see the video stream. To enable their face recognition, we need to enable their motion detector. Here it is. It's enabled. And then we need to enable external intelligence modules and choose face recognition module. I already set it. Okay, I'll go slowly. We can see the settings of the module. It's not very informative. Mohammed, hello. And after we set up the module, let's go to the scenarios. So I set up this scenario about the face recognized. Here you can see it. The first action that I set up was sending notification by email. So here you can stop some runtime conditions. So I set the runtime condition if the person was identified. If you want, you can set up this scenario for the concrete people, concrete person. I'm sorry. So if you want, you can type the concrete name, and then in the action, you set the address for the email, and you can attach the frame and type the message. For example, set the runtime condition for the concrete person. You can set up, for example, the name John. And if John was recognized, you will receive the notification. So you can type his name here and, for example, type John has arrived. And you will receive this notification immediately to your email. So I think it's pretty cool. So you can check the situation and get the feedback about your employees. So type your questions, and after the demonstration, I will answer your technical questions, and Alexandra will answer your questions about product. So I won't this change because I changed it already. And the second scenario I want you to show is sending signal to camera output. So the runtime condition may be the same. So identified, yes. And if your camera support alarm input output ports, so you can send the signal for the event to your camera output. So for example, on the channel 7, the person was recognized, he was identified, and then you can send the signal to the output of your camera. So if some lock was connected to the your camera, it will be unlocked. So you can make an access control via face recognition. So for example, if you arrive to our office, you just need to stand behind the camera. Your face will be recognized, and you can just enter the office because our scenarios was set up to unlock the door after the face was recognized. So I think it's a nice feature that you can develop on your site, and I can recommend it. So it really works, and it works correctly. It about the setting it up. The next feature that I want you to show is controlling the P2Z cameras automatically. So let's look to the next camera. So it's loading. Yes, here it is. So here you can see the videos from the camera. Let's go forward and change the settings of the motion detector. So we need to enable motion detector and to change it mode to expert mode. After that, we will be able to add several zones to our frame. So for example, here's the first frame. We can use the brush to draw the zone. Here's the second zone, and this is the third. So you don't need to enable some intelligent modules for this camera, only motion detector. After that, let's go to the second channel. Oh, I'm sorry, previous. So in this channel, it's loading. So let's go further. After we set up the zones, let's go to the scenarios. And the scenario that we are searching for is motion. So here are three actions. The first one, set camera position. So if we have a PTZ camera, we can set up for the motion detector. So if motion was detected in one of the zones, for example, if motion was detected in zone number, the camera, let's check it. So action settings, run in channel, select the 8th channel, it's a PTZ camera, and here we can type the number of reset, so of the camera position. It's first one here, and we need to add several actions for every zone. So this one was for the first zone, this for the second, so zone equal number 2, and action preset order number 2. After we set up all these scenarios, we need to apply the settings, and then let's go to our clients app and watch how it works. So here is the camera with the motion detector. To understand if the scenario works fine, let's show boundaries of an object. So here you can see there is a motion in this zone. So the camera is in this position. So if I make some move, yes, the camera position, as you can see in this cell, is changed. It's changed to the third position, and then I just make some movement. Hello, and it changed again to the first position. It's about the P2Z control. The face recognition that we set up about the sending notifications to our email. Here we can see the face recognition module and the list of recognized persons. So, for example, this person is Dan Jones. For example, you can set up this scenario if this concrete person arrives to the office, the notification will be received. So let's go to our mail. Also, you can set up the period, not make some actions more often, for example, than 10 seconds, a minute, and so on. Because if you won't change this parameter, you will receive mails very often, as you can see here. So the notifications from the security channel face, and so on, and tracking. So this is a scheduled action. It's sending me the email 10 minutes. And about the face recognition, if we open this mail, we can see that this employee arrived to the office. So we can check if someone of our employees is really at our site and he isn't working right now. So these are the main features that I wanted to show you. So the PTZ control, changing the position of the PTZ camera if motion was detected on some locations. The second one is sending notifications by some actions. For example, face was recognized. The scheduled tasks, for example, saving frame on the, or sending email to your mobile devices, or just email every, for example, day, 10 minutes, and other periods. And the function of sending the signal to the camera output. So you can enable the lock on your door, for example, open the gate if the license plate was recognized. So these are the main features about the automatization. And of course, that's not the complete list of the functions. If you want to implement some other functions for your concrete task, of course, you can do this, and you can contact our technical support, and we'll give you some instructions how you can set it up via scenarios, or for example HTTP requests, API, SDK, and so on. So this is the main part, and now I'm ready to discuss and answer your questions. So if you have them, just let check the chat. So Peter asked about setting general email server to be used for all schedules and scenarios. Yes, of course, you can set up the different uh, email servers for our scheduled tasks or scenarios. Let me show you again. So you can change one of these servers or type it manually if you need this. So you just use set manually and type their server address, port, and username password. Is it possible to send alert to IP server, for example, when face was recognized? If this speaker is working via, for example, input-output ports, then yes, you just connect it to the output camera and send the signal by scenario to play, for example, some saved alarm on this speaker. And if you want to add some IP speaker like the camera, it need to be integrated in our system. For the moment, we don't have any integrated speakers. We can only work with some cameras, devices with input-output ports, DVR, NVR, and so on. So, but you can use speakers if they were integrated or connected by input-output ports too. maybe via HTTP push notification. No, yes, as I said earlier, also you can send, for example, HTTP request to your external system for some actions. Uh, can you include the name of the person in the, oh, where is this message? Yes, include the name of the person in the face recognition notification. Yes, sure. You can set up the action for the concrete person and type their names, second name, and so on in the description. So this message will be sent to the receiver, and he will be informated about who uh, arrived to the office. So the photo may be attached and the information about this person. Can you also change the email server for all notifications at once? So as I showed you here, you need to set up the mail server every time when you set up the scheduled task or the scenario. So you can't change the IP address for all the scenarios and for all the scheduled tasks at once. So you need to change it one by one. What kind of analysis you suggest to use with the panoramic camera and PTZ camera to discriminate a cat from a person and zoom only when it's needed? That's a good question because if we set up the 7 channel when where we detect the motion, let's test the video stream and I will show you. Let's wait when the video will load. Yes. For example, the first zone, you can set the minimals that of the object that will be detected. So you want to detect only people, you need to enter the size of the person, not the cat, bird, and so on. So just change it if you know that the person is has this size. And then the cats, birds, and so on won't be detected by the tracking module or by the motion detector. So, any other questions? Let's make a discussion about these functions and make it more informative, because I know that our customers have a lot of questions, and sometimes it's very interesting to answer these questions because it learns our customers what new features they can receive, and they can learn us how we can develop our product to make it more useful for our clients. So let's add a new scenario from the start. This scenario will be about face recognized again. and let's again send notification by email. But now we'll set it for a concrete person. So name equal, for example, Roman. The name must be the same as in the database. So I recommend you just copy this name to the settings. Let's set up here. Gmail. Okay. And when you, for example, change to Gmail or other server, you need to type your address here. And as you can see here, the address of the sender is here. Let's just copy the same address to the sender, and let's type the name of this employee. So Roman has arrived. Attach frame to email. If you want to check the connection and that the settings are correct, you can send test message. So it's sending. Yes, we received the mail from our system. And can you add multiple recipients? Yes, sure, you can add them. Just when you type the receivers, you just can type another address, for example, and then send another message. Let's check. Employee arrived. If you have two servers on different locations and connected through VPN, you can connect both of these servers on database. So you need to change it in the face recognition module. So here you can change the type of the database from the local one to remote. So, and here you can type the IP address of the main server that will keep the database, its name, port, and password. So these are the authorization data to get access to your server that keeps the database. So sure, you can do that. If you have two face recognition modules for the one server and for the second server, then yes, you need two face recognition licenses for the first server and for the second one. As you remember, you need to install licenses only for the servers, and the number of supported cameras, intelligent modules is linked in this license. So if you install the license on your server, then this server will allow you to connect some number of cameras, for example, 20 with two channels for face recognition and so on. So all the servers need to be licensed. You need to buy two licenses for the face recognition module. So the database will be included in this license. So we keep receiving the notifications. So we can feel free that we will get the operative infantry. And here you can see the list of our events for the scenarios so that you can set up. So there is a list of our intelligent modules, our integrated external systems, and for example, camera input signal. So if you connect some sensors to your input of the cameras, you can generate some actions when these sensors will detect any change. So for example, you can start recording by any connected sensor and so on. The information about the database, Artem, thanks for your question, is setting for the database for one of these servers that will keep the database. So if you're running two face recognition modules with one remote database, then you can just use one database for one server, and the second one will run only the face recognition module. But you will need to have a good connection quality between these two servers to make the recognition operative. So because the second server will need to contact the main server to get information from the database. Great, great. Glad to answer your question. So, for example, if you're running the crowd counting module, you can set a scenario for event a large number of people in a queue or a large crowd of people. So the notification will be sent if the number of people in the queue will be, for example, more than 5 and so on. So you just type the runtime conditions, zone equal, and type the number of people that are not allowed to be waiting for the worker. Of course, video surveillance sabotage is important event. If there was a sabotage event, then the notification will can be sent to email, SMS, or for example, push notification to your mobile device. So you will be informed about all the events immediately. So for these tasks that I showed you today, you need to, for the first one, when we just saved the frame for the scheduled task, you don't need any module. You just need to get the license for this camera to be recorded. And this action scheduled will work with no extra licenses. For the face recognition, you of course have to buy the license for the face recognition. It's very important. But if you want to work with the alarm output ports of your camera, you won't need to buy some extra licenses. So working with these ports is a basic functionality. So you won't need to buy extra licenses. You just need to get the camera that support working with these input-output ports. So if this camera supports working with them, you can add this camera by its model, or for example by OnVIF. OnVIF also allows to work with the input-output ports. For the next camera, when we detect the motion, here we just need the motion detector. So there is no license for motion detector. It's built in your license by default. But please note that you can't use the built-in motion detector in the camera, because if you enable it, you can't set up the zones. You need to use the programming motion detector. Then you will be able to set up several zones to be detected. And the last camera with the PTZ. Here you need to buy the PTZ module to get this scenario working. So if we open this camera, we can change its position manually. And if we don't working with this camera, after some seconds, it will work by itself. Okay, what about other questions? So if there are no other questions, I want to say you, oh, another one, great. So you need some extra information about smoke and fire detection. Yes, if you're running the event, for example, let me find this module. Yes, there are two separate events, smoke and fire. So you can differ these two events and choose, for example, fire. You can also generate, for example, sending notification or sending, for example, push notification to your mobile, saving frame to your disk, or sending event to the internal system. So sure, you can run some scenarios for this event too. Also, you can set up the scenarios for the alarm generation, and if the camera is in the guard mode, which is enabling in the client's app, so the cell will be marked with this alarm. So the operator will receive the sign that the alarm was generated. Thanks for your question, Alexandra. You can add several receivers in the settings, so several people will receive the push notification at the same time. About requirements for the face recognition module. Yes, you need to have 60 pixels between eyes. You can use the camera pixel counter, or you can save the frame from your camera and then use the graphical reductor to count the number of pixels between some points, for example, eyes. So you can use, for example, the default application from Windows, Paint, and open the snapshot from your camera in it and count the number of pixels. You're welcome. So do you want to continue the demonstration, and do you have some points that you want to be described, maybe? So I may try to make this webinar very informative for you to show you some new features that we haven't discussed yet, but I know that some clients are interested in automatization, working with scheduled tasks, scenarios, and so on to get the more efficient work from the CCTV system and to get immediate notifications from the system too. So Kevin, let me check about your last question. Okay, Kevin, so you want to check and monitor the car traffic, right? Okay, so this task wasn't developed yet, so you can try to set up the module for counting people in a queue and set up the size of an object for detecting cars, but it only as an experiment because we haven't tested these functions on cars. This module was developed, of course, only for people. But if you're counting cars, for example, at the gate, then you can use the license plate recognition module and to get information about the recognized license plate that went through the gate during the day, for example, and then count the traffic about that. It's just one of the ways how to do that. Unfortunately, no at the moment, so we haven't faced this task before, but if you're interested in it, just let us know via email, for example, Eocortex from support. Okay, yes, okay, and please let us know about the results, support from Eocortex.com. You're welcome, great. So I think that we can finish the demonstration and let's get the feedback because it's very important to me to know if you were interested in the presentation and do you get some more info about our automatization. Do you will you implement and develop some of these features that you knew today? So please vote in this form, and I want to thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for attention. Sure, this presentation will be available to download.